Anomalo has just announced a $33 million Series B funding round, and essentially they're doing this to help enterprises fully trust and leverage their data, specifically when it comes to AI. So today on the podcast, I'm going to be diving into exactly what they do, what they'll be spending this money on, giving you a little bit of background. This is a really fascinating company, and I'm really excited to talk about it. Before we get into that, I want to say today's episode, of course, is sponsored by my very own AI Box, the no-code app builder and marketplace that I'm currently working on. We launched a crowdfunding campaign for it. If you're interested in getting involved, we've raised over $310,000 so far. I'll leave a link in the description, republic.com/AI-box. You can go check it out. But let's get into the episode. Welcome to the world's #1 AI podcast, AI Chat. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. So the big news here, of course, is that Anomalo has announced a $33 million Series B funding round. What's interesting here, the round is actually being led by Signalfire, and it has a bunch of strategic investors, including Databricks Ventures. Now, for those that know, Databricks is a massive AI and data company. And they've also raised at, multi-billion dollar valuations. So Databricks has been involved in a lot of stuff, and I think the fact that Databricks Ventures is getting in on this is a good indicator that this is a very serious company, and they're going to do some big things in this space. So really what Anomalo is aiming to do is to empower enterprises to fully trust and leverage their data. This is really important today when we're focusing on using that data for training AI models and a lot of other things. So the company has actually just started. It's not super old. This was started back in 2018. And they use AI to help organizations generate reliable insights from their data. So really it's like you give them your data and they're helping you to, using AI, they're going to help you get a bunch of really important insights from it. So the co-founders are Elliot Schmuckler, that's the CEO, and Jeremy Stanley, that's their CTO. And what's interesting is both of these founders previously worked together at Instacart before they started the company. The company has experienced some really massive growth, which I think is kind of emphasizing the market's need for really automating some of these data quality solutions. So something else that is impressive, I was just looking at the press release, but apparently Anomalo had 177% annual growth year over year. So they're growing quite quickly. It's funny because in their press release, they're like, we doubled our Fortune 500 customers in Q3 alone, which, I'm sure they're doing great and they got some good customers, but this one always just kind of, I don't know, drives me crazy. I think it's sort of ridiculous because it's like, they don't give a number behind how many customers they have. They're just like, we doubled it. It's like, cool. So if you had one before, now you have two, I don't know. So that's just a funny stat, but they do have a bunch of clients, including Block, BuzzFeed, Keller Williams, Casey's, Discover, Notion, and then I think the College Board. So they do have a bunch of really legitimate customers, and I do think that they're doing some big things. Their platform does have data observability, which is AI-driven monitoring, and it's kind of, helping to automate. It has automated root cause analysis, which I think is impressive. And really what they're doing is they're using machine learning for rapid assessment of a bunch of different data sets. And they have a bunch of strategic partnerships. I mentioned Databricks, but they also have partnerships with Google Cloud, Snowflake, and Alation. So, of course, the big news here is that they've just raised $33 million, but total, they've actually raised $72 million over the course of their company. So they are a well-capitalized company. And, looking at this latest $33 million round, that's a pretty sizable chunk of the total they've raised. So Chris Scoggins from Signalfire, he's going to be joining Anomalo's board, and he's got a bunch of experience. I think he helped with Data Logics. He was kind of instrumental in scaling that before it was acquired by Oracle. They also have a bunch of some of their previous investors were Northwest Venture Partners, Two Sigma Ventures, and then Foundation Capital. So a bunch of big VC firms. All of this new funding that they've just raised is going to be used to help the platform scale their engineering and also their go-to-market teams, right? So really focusing on developers, developing the product, and then marketing and, getting the word out about this. So I think they're hoping to really, their goal really here is to support enterprises and ensuring high-quality data. I think this is really important today in a day of AI where data is king. And so I think that this is going to be a big company. I'm curious to follow along with them, and I'll let you know as they progress what they're doing in the future. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app, or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.